some columns. And then we'll try to see how we can do that. This time you have to draw 5 columns. So, what's the company? Hoffman Foods produces a specialty soup. And they sell it in jars. And they have this plan, right? And you see here their projected sales in dollars and in jars. How many jars they're gonna sell? So these are their projections. First quarter, this is the dollar amount, this is the number of jars. Second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Remember, production budget is always in unit, not in dollar. In unit. That means how many units you want to sell. Here our unit is jar. That means how many jars you want to sell. Right. And this is the unit for your final product. Final product is that the jar of soup. Right. So this is the units for your final product. Remember, production budget is always in unit. There is no dollar sign in it. So let's try to draw the columns. So you have all these predictions, and you have little more information here at the bottom of this table. Hoffman anticipates selling 223,000 jars, and the sales revenue in terms of dollar is 260,000 in the first quarter of the year following the year given in the preceding table. So this is for one table, and in the following year's first quarter, you also have some prediction because we need this one to calculate our ending inventory. And they have a policy that ending inventory of jars must be 30% of the following quarter sales. Whatever, how many jars you want to sell in next quarter, 30% of it you will keep in your storage or warehouse as your ending inventory. Right. So let's try to do the budget. I'll write down the name of the company, Hoffman Foods. And then name of your budget, it's production budget. And then, I don't know the year, but you can just write it down for the upcoming year, for the next year or upcoming year. Again, it's the year-long budget. That means you will have a column for every quarter and the total column for the entire year. Right, so I'll draw the columns. Quarter 1. So draw 4 quarters column and the total column. Quarter 4, you can write it down total or year. That means this is the total for all of your 4 quarters. That means for the entire year. Right, so once you have these columns, then we're going to try to fill up the columns. Again, I love to draw like double line or just mark it as a little bit bold because this is kind of separating the total column. Right. So now we will start with the number of units that you want to sell. The idea is that how many units you want to sell, then how many units you want to save as ending inventory, then how many units you already have as beginning inventory. So you're going to add first number of units you want to sell, and then you want to add your desired ending inventory, then you're going to subtract your ending inventory. So I'll just write it down, unit sales. Again, production budget is always in unit. No dollar values here, right? Always in unit. So, unit sales. And now you have to look at the table. Number of jars sold. So in first quarter, how many jars you want to sell? Who can help me? First quarter. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, Joe, please. Excellent. 152,500 second quarter. Go ahead, Joe.
81,500.
Excellent. Third quarter. 213. And our final last quarter is? Excellent. Thank you. We will do the total column later. Right. Now, this is the unit you want to sell. These jars you must have to produce. Right. Then you want to save some extra jars at ending inventory. Right. So, you will add your desired ending inventory. And you can check if the company has any policy, how many units they want to save as ending inventory. They actually have a policy, right? It says that Hoffman has a policy that the ending inventory of the jars must be 30% of the following quarter sales. Whatever they're going to sell in the following quarter, 30% of it they will save as ending inventory. So now you have to calculate your first quarter's ending inventory. So what will be your first quarter's ending inventory? That will be 30% of your second quarter sales. That means if you check your table, your second quarter sales is 181,500. So 30% of it, calculate 30% of it. That's the ending inventory you want to keep as extra at the end of your first quarter. So now tell me, if you take 30% of second quarter sales, which is 181,500, what's the number you get here? Who has the number? Who can help me? Yeah, Mike? Great, it's 54,450. Please make sure you know where I'm getting all these numbers. So we're gonna do the same thing, right? When you are in quarter 2, you have to check what is your following quarter sales. That means you have to check what is your quarter 3 sales. And again, you're going to save 30% of it as your ending inventory. That means when you are in quarter 2, look at quarter 3 sales. And the sales is 213,000 jars. So take 30% of it. This will be your quarter 2's ending inventory. Tell me the number. Who want to help me, please? Yes. It's 63,900. Great. How about quarter 3? Let me see who can tell me. Courtney, quarter 3. 48,150. Courtney, can you repeat? How did you get this 48,150? So you look at quarter 4 sales and you took 30%, 160,000. And then 500, take 30%. Now, the tricky one. Last quarter, quarter 4's ending inventory. So when you are in the quarter 4, what is your following quarter? Following quarter means the first quarter of the following year, right? So now you have to check if there is any information what is talking about your following year's first quarter sales. Right, you actually have it. If you read this first sentence, it says that Hoffman anticipates selling 223,000 jars. We just need the jars, units, in the first quarter of the year following the year given. That means the following year's first quarter sales is 223,000. And you're gonna keep 30% of it as your last quarter's ending inventory. Right. So that means it's a little bit calculation. So I'm just trying to show it here. Take what is your following year's first quarter's inventory. So last quarter's ending inventory will be, your policy is always save 30% of following next quarter, following quarter's sales. So 30% of the following year's first quarter sales. I'm just trying to write it down everything so that you don't forget it later. How did I get the numbers? First quarter's sales. All right. the following year's first quarter sales, and which is given here. Following year's first quarter sales is 223,000. It's given here. So I'll take these 223,000 and then I'm gonna multiply it by 30%. And I get how much? 223,000, which is my following year's first quarter sales. And as usual, according to the policy of the company, I'm gonna keep 30% of it as my ending inventory. Who can tell me the number? It's not working. Whose calculator is working? Yes, Julie, please. You got 66,900. So that will be your fourth quarter's ending inventory. 66,900. Okay. So this is how you will calculate your ending inventory. I'm repeating, last quarter's ending inventory is a bit tricky. You have to look forward. You have to look what is your following year's first quarter sales, which is given here, 223,000. Right, because we always look at the next quarter's sales. This is 223,000 and you take 30%. This is how I get this 66,900. Is it clear? You look a little bit confused. I'll help you. Yeah, are you good? Kyle, any questions? Okay, great. Everyone is good here. Daniel. Aaron? Okay, good. Now you can add it. That means this is your total need, right? Total need, but then we should have something as beginning inventory, so you're going to subtract it. So just add this. Try to have some leveling for every number, so I'll call it its total needed. So just add these two and tell me the numbers. Quarter one. Let's see who has calculator and can help me. Quarter one. You want to help? You don't have calculator? You can use your cell phone. Try to do it in class. Or let's see, you can help me. Nina, you want to help? It's 206,900. And then? Yeah, tell me the numbers. Oh, it's 950. Sorry, it's 950. You are right, Joe. Sorry, I didn't hear that 50. It's 206,950. Is it 950? Okay, great. Yeah, Jade, can you tell me quarter two? You have the numbers, right? 245,400, right? Please check, everyone. I can hear the wrong number and can write the wrong thing here. Yes, go ahead. Who is there? Michelle, you want to tell me something? 261,150. That's your Q3. Margaret, how about Q4? You have any number? 227,400. Great. Now you got what should be your total need. That means these many jars you must have to produce. Now one thing we have to consider, we already have some beginning inventory. So you don't need to produce those jars. So what I'm going to do now, I will subtract my beginning inventory. And you know beginning inventory, what do you mean by beginning inventory? Beginning inventory is actually last year's or last period's ending inventory. Right. Now, for the first quarter, it's a bit tricky to calculate the beginning inventory. But we actually did it. Anthony, you got it? Or any clue? How can I get for the first quarter's beginning inventory? Okay, I'll give you some clue. First quarter's beginning inventory means your last year's, if you would have another year here, last year's last quarter's ending inventory, right? This first quarter's beginning inventory means the past quarter's ending inventory, right? So, for past quarter's ending inventory, you know, for every quarter. Yes, Paul, you have some numbers. Yeah, great. So can you tell me the number? I think you are right. So if you tell the number, then I can explain it. Excellent. It's actually right. It's 45,750. Great, Paul. So you know what? Paul did it. So Paul thinks that this is 30% of your unit cells. Oops, sorry. This is 30% of your this quarter's unit cells. Why? Try to understand the logic. Don't try to be mechanical or don't try to memorize anything. This beginning inventory should be your last quarter's ending inventory. So whatever the last quarter here you had, this last quarter's ending inventory is always the following quarter's 30% of sales. So following quarters means Q1, right? When you are considering here last quarters, so following quarter means Q1. So if you consider 30% of sales, that would be your last quarter's ending inventory, and that should be your first quarter's beginning inventory. So that means if you want to know the detail of this number, I would say I'm just writing little notes so that you don't forget. Here, quarter one's beginning inventory. Beginning inventory is last year's last quarter's, I'm trying to show you the logic, last quarter's ending inventory. Right. So every quarter when you need to calculate any ending inventory means it's the following quarter's 30% of their sales. Right. So that means last quarter's ending inventory would be the following quarter, which is Q1. Q1's 30% of sales. So Q1's sales is it's all unit, 152,500, and you take 30%, which Paul got it, it's 45750. Right. So for the first quarter, this will be your beginning inventory. I'm repeating why we are getting this 30%. Because this 30% will be your prior quarter's ending inventory, which will be this quarter's beginning inventory. So that's the tricky part. Other than that, every other number, everything else is very straightforward. Now, if you think of quarter two, when you are in quarter two, what is your beginning inventory? Quarter two, yes, please, Kyle. How did you get it? Can you repeat it? This is 54,450. Is that the number, Kyle? Because quarter two's beginning inventory means your last quarter's ending inventory, right? That means quarter one's ending inventory will be quarter two's beginning inventory. Same thing here. Quarter three's beginning inventory means quarter two's ending inventory. Quarter four's beginning inventory means quarter three's ending inventory, right? So just look at your prior or past quarter's ending inventory. That will be your beginning inventory here. So for quarter three, what is your beginning inventory for quarter three? 63,900. Hannah, what is your beginning inventory for quarter four? Yes? It's 48,150. Excellent. Emma, you are good? Do you have your calculator? Okay, so you will add the numbers. Well, it's not adding, it's the subtraction. And you will tell me what is the total for your first quarter. So tell me what is the total for every quarter. Every quarter's total. And then we will find our total column. Did I pass the attendance sheet? Okay, so here it is. And in the meantime, you can check all those total and tell me the number. So that means this is your unit to produce. This will tell you for each quarter how many units you have to produce. So tell me your unit to produce for quarter one. Who wants to help me? Yeah, come on, Anthony. 700. 161 0 160 700.
I got 1,200.
You have to subtract. Adam, how much you?
161,200.
Joe.
I got.
Anthony, can you check it? It's 950. Okay. Courtney, how much you got? Quarter one, just check it.
Oh, yeah.
You got same? Okay, great. Can you tell me quarter two, please? 190,950. Is it the number you got it? Good. Quarter three, who can tell me quarter three? Who can tell me quarter three? Yes, please. 250. How about quarter four? Quarter four. Yes, go ahead. Anyone can help me. Yeah, Margaret? 179, 250. Great. So you are done for each quarter. Now we just need to do the year column. Year is simple total column, right? Year is simple total column. So you can add all of those quarter values and you can get the entire year's numbers. But for beginning and ending inventory, it's kind of conceptual and tricky. So for the first item, unit sales, you can just add all these. All 4 quarter sales. That will be your entire year sales. How many jars? Add all these numbers and tell me. Add all these across columns. 707 and 500. Great. If you add it, please check it. If you add all those 4 columns, that should be your total year. Year's total sales. Now, another tricky part. Ending inventory for the entire year. For the entire year's ending inventory. Can you add all these? Will it make any sense? No. Adam, what will be your ending inventory here?
I don't know.
It should be your last quarter's ending inventory, right? For ending and beginning inventory, you cannot add all this. So for ending inventory, you just need to pick your last quarter's ending inventory. That's your whole year's ending inventory because this is the last quarter things. At the end of the year, it will be your ending inventory. For the beginning inventory, again, you cannot add everything. It will be just the first beginning inventory, just the beginning of the year, what was your beginning inventory. So that's another thing you have to remember. So I prefer to put within bracket, that means you are subtracting. So now, who can help me again? What is your ending inventory for the year? Ending inventory is the last quarters, which is 66,900. Good. Now add these two. How much you get here? Add these two. Yeah, someone please help me. Add these two. Yeah, Anthony, add these two. Good. Now, who can tell me what will be your beginning inventory? This year's beginning inventory on the very first day, on January 1st. What was your beginning inventory? Yeah, it's only for the first quarters. That means when you are writing your year's beginning inventory, you will write it down, 45,750. Now, subtract that beginning inventory from your total. Then you will find many units for the whole year you have to produce? Yeah, any number. Who has the number? Who can help me? You have the number, Daniel? Yes, Courtney?
720.
Good. That's the total. Now again, you need to double check it. Can you add all these 4 numbers across columns and check if it's totally same? So we are kind of doing vertical addition and horizontal addition just to double check that your grand total is 728, 650. So again, if you do like this, you will get the number. But it's always better if you double check it. Add across columns, you will get this number. Okay, so now we're gonna do one more problem. Well, 2 more actually. The next problem is on the same page. If you check, it's E921A, and it is called Direct Material Budget. Let's try to do this one. Direct material. Concepts are same. You have to check how many units you need. Then you have to add your desired ending inventory. Then you have to subtract your beginning inventory. But remember, these are all units, but these are the units for your raw materials, not the finished goods. So please read this number E921A, and we're gonna do that. Check out what is their finished goods and what is the direct material they're talking about. Satco Industries. Write down the name of your budget. Most of the part is in unit. Then at the end, we will multiply with cost and we'll get it the dollar value. And it's actually for 1 quarter. Remember, 1 quarter means 3 months. And they're asking about the first quarter. That means January, February, March. So you should have 3 columns for each month and then your total column. So you can write it down for the first quarter or for the months of January to March. Right. And let's try to draw the columns. One is January. February. March, and your total column. Total, or you can write it down your first quarter. Right. So the idea is same. We will see how many units we need, and then we'll see what is our desired ending inventory. Then we'll subtract our beginning inventory. Now remember, it's only for your direct material, raw materials. Now can anyone tell me what is their finished product? What they actually manufacture or sell? What is their finished product? If you read the problem. Any idea? Read the problem. Not only about the numbers. What is their finished product? They are producing what? Yeah? They are producing what? Stuffed animals, right? So remember, that's their finished product. But we are doing the budget for what? Direct material. So they actually talked about one type of direct material that they need to produce that stuffed animal. What is the direct material? What is the direct material? Computer chips. So they produce some toys or what they call it. It's stuffed animal toys, and they need to insert some computer chips. So we're going to do the production budget for the direct material, that means for the chips. Right. Now, if you read it, how many chips they need for one toy? Is there any information they're talking about? How many chips they need for every toy? 3, right? So first we'll look at how many toys they're going to produce, and then we'll multiply by 3, because for every toy they need 3 chips. And everything we are doing for the chips, right? So let's try to do that. So first we will write it down, units to be produced. Unit to be produced means how many stuffed animals they want to produce. Right, so these are the stuffed animals. So first column I'll write it down, units to be produced. These are finished goods, so the final product. Units to be produced, which is given there. So this unit means like their final product, and which they actually mentioned stuffed animals. In January they're gonna produce 5,600. February they will produce 4,800. March they will produce 4,200. And this number actually you are getting from your production budget. They probably had their production budget and they got these numbers from their production budget. But we are doing everything for our direct materials. And remember, this direct material is what? This is computer chips. And some of you just mentioned that for each toy, they need to use 3 chips, right? So if I ask you, how many computer chips they need to meet up their production, you have to multiply everything by 3. So we will call it multiplied, what I can call you, it's quantity of direct material needed per unit or per toy, right? So please try to write something meaningful, right? So per toy, they need 3 computer chips. So you're going to multiply, we call it quantity of direct material. DM means direct materials, or you can write computer chips. So for every month's production, we're going to multiply by 3 because the budget is for computer chips, but the numbers are toys. So for every toy, they need 3 chips. So what should be their total amount of direct materials needed for these months? So I will call it quantity of direct material. DM means direct material needed for productions. I'm trying to write every detail. Right, that means how many chips, computer chips you need. So if you multiply, you can tell me the numbers. So can anyone help me, please? 5,600 multiplied by 3. Let's start from here. Matt, right? You will tell me the January, how many computer chips you need?
My calculator isn't working.
Oh, you are not? Okay, sorry. Your one is working. Paul, your one is working. For January, how many chips you need? 16,800. Paul, can you tell me February's need? Adam, sorry, Adam. I'm calling you Paul. I'm sorry. Yeah. Adam, can you tell me February, how many computer chips you need? 14,400. Good. Next row, Mackenzie, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me March? So we need 12,600. Good. Now, you have to check what you need to keep for your ending inventory. The idea is same. You have to save some safety ending inventory. So you're going to add plus desired ending inventory. Again, this everything is for computer chips. Desired ending inventory of direct material. Now, can you check it if there is any clue how many units you want to save as ending inventory? So it says that Saco Industries has a policy stating that the ending inventory of computer chips should be at least 25% of the following month's production needs. Right, 25% of the following month's production needs. So this is your production needs, right? So you will check 25% of your following months. That means when you are doing the budget for your January column, you're going to check what is your production need for February and take 25% and keep that one as your January's ending inventory. So if you take 25% of February's production need, which is 14,400, Anthony, what should be your ending inventory for January? Or who can help me? Joe or Anna? So it's 3,600. I'm repeating. Their policy is here. They state that every month they're gonna save 25% of following month's production needs as ending inventory. That means when we are doing January's budget, we have to check what is February's production need. This is February's production need. So 25% of it they will save as January's ending inventory. Right. Now, Anthony Rizzo, can you help me for February's ending inventory? So February's ending inventory means March. So you got 3,600. How did it get it? 3,600 here? Yeah. Or Whedon wants to help? So we are talking about February, right? February's ending inventory means March's production need, which is 12,600, and then take 25% of it. It's 3,150. Good. March's ending inventory. Again, for March's ending inventory, you need to know April's production need. We don't have any column for April because we are just doing for the first quarter. But if you look at the main table, they actually have that April sales information. So April's production information. Right. So for March's ending inventory, I want to show you the detail. Right. So I'll write notes here and you can also save it. March's ending inventory. March's ending inventory will be 25% of April's production needs. Right. April's production needs. That's their policy. They always try to keep 25% of their next month's production need. So now we actually don't know the April column, but you know April, how many stuffed animals they're gonna produce. They're gonna produce 4,000 stuffed animals. Now for each stuffed animals, they need 3 chips. Right. I'm sorry, it's a little bit bottom here. So here, March's ending inventory will be 25% of April's production. So if you check the table here, April's production is 4,000 stuffed animals. That's the number of toys they're gonna produce. For each toy, they need 3 chips. So that's their April's production need. And then take 25% of it. And that should be your March's ending inventory. And if you take it, what number you get here? What number? Paul, any number you have? You got 3,000? Damien, you wanna check? You got 3,002. This is how you will get your March's ending inventory is 3,000. Make it, yeah. So that's your March's ending inventory. Good, very good. Now, if you add it, you will call it total quantity of DM, total quantity needed. Then we're gonna subtract our beginning inventory. So just add these two and tell me what's the total quantity you needed. So Gianna, you have your calculator. January total. Who can help me, Hannah? Can you see from there? I know it's hard to see. Yeah, but who has the numbers? Jade or anyone from that row? You want to help? So you got total needed 20,400. Jade, is that you told me? How about the February's total? Can you tell me? So you got 17,550. March, who is next? March. Yes, here. So it's 15,600. Good. So that's your total need. Now you have to consider what is your beginning inventory, because you don't need to buy all those beginning inventory. So we're going to subtract beginning inventory. Again, beginning inventory means your last quarter's ending inventory. Right, last quarter's or last month's ending inventory. But for the first month, January, it's a bit tricky. That's why I want to show you. So January's beginning inventory, theoretically, it should be your December's ending inventory, right? But December's column, we don't have it. But we know December's ending inventory means January's 25% of production needed. So we know January here. This is your January's production need. So you can take 25% of it, because that should be your past year's December's ending inventory, or that should be your January's beginning inventory. Right. So I'm just writing it out in case you forgot just how I get this number. What's the logic? So January's beginning inventory is last year's December's ending inventory. We actually don't know what was December's ending inventory, right? But we know the policy. We know the policy. For a certain month, ending inventory will be always the following month's 25% of production need. That means December's ending inventory should be 25% of January's production needs, right? January's, that means the following month's production need. And we actually know January's production need is here. If I go up, January's production need is here. Right, 16,800. So I'm writing here 16,800, and then I'm going to multiply by 25%. That should be your December's ending inventory, and that will be ultimately your January's beginning inventory. So if you multiply 16,800 by, multiplied it by 25% or 0.25, how much you get here? How much you get here? Who is there next to Kira? Eden? Yeah, you have any number? Yeah, Julie? 4,200. And you know how do I get it? January's ending inventory should be, December's ending inventory should be January's beginning inventory. December's ending inventory should be your January's 25% of your production need. Or you can also write it down here. It's 25% of it. So if you take 25%, which is 4,200, that's your beginning inventory for the month of January. Now the next part is simple. February's beginning inventory will be January's ending inventory. March's beginning inventory will be February's ending inventory. Right. So now who can tell me what is your February's beginning inventory? What is your February's beginning inventory? Yeah, you want to tell me? Great, 3,600. And March's beginning inventory? So 3,150. Good. Now you're going to subtract all these beginning inventories, and then you can understand how many computer chips you need to purchase. That means quantity of direct material to purchase. Right, so I'm going to call it quantity of direct material to purchase. Right. So I still need a little more space. So I'm trying to fit it here. Who can tell me how many computer chips you need to purchase for January? Direct material means computer chips. Yeah. Who can tell me, Courtney? 16,200. Go ahead for February. 13,950 March. 12,450. Remember, up to this, everything is in units. All these are units. Computer chips. But now we need to know these are the computer chips you're going to purchase. We need to know the cost of all those direct material or computer chips that you need to purchase. Now, can you find any information that says how much it costs for each computer chip? Is there any information? Yeah? $2. Danielle, how much it costs for each computer chip? $2. Okay, Brittany. Now, what you will do, you have your calculator. We're going to multiply every numbers by $2. Up to this, everything was in unit. Now, for every computer chips, you need to spend $2. That's what we need to know. What will be your cost? Right. So, multiply every number of quantity that you're going to purchase, multiplied by 2. So I will say it is cost per chip or cost per unit of direct material. Cost per computer chip or cost per unit of direct materials. So if you multiply by 2, you will figure it out. Total cost of direct material. This is your budgeted cost of your direct material. So if you do that, it should be 1630, 2,400. Remember, now everything is in dollar. Can you tell me the numbers? Thank you, Carl. 27,900. How about March? Great. 24,900. So these are the budgeted costs for your direct material. Now it's time to complete your total column or quarterly columns. Right. So we're going to do it. Some are add across the columns. Some will be a little bit tricky. Say, for example, this one you can add it. Units to produce. These are the toys. Number of stuffed toys or stuffed animals. So add all this. Add these all and tell me the number. Great. Everything is number. Go ahead, Kyle. Then you're going to multiply by 3. Tell me how many direct computer chips or direct material you need for the whole quarter. 43,800. Now, who can tell me what will be your first quarter's ending inventory? First quarter's ending inventory. Who can tell me? Quarter's ending inventory. Yes, please. Yeah? Ending inventory. Ending means here? Yeah. No, you can do it. First quarter's ending inventory. Ending means just your last ending inventory. Wait. Yeah, no, it is actually your, this one. This is your March. March's ending inventory will be your entire quarter's ending inventory. But you are right if I would ask you beginning inventory. Right, beginning inventory will be January's beginning inventory. Right. So now if you add this 43,800, add 3,000, your total quantity needed will be, it's 46,800. Now, what will be your beginning inventory for the quarter? Beginning inventory means on the very first day of the quarter, what was your beginning inventory? That will be the entire quarter's beginning inventory. Add up. Yeah, it is 4,200, right? So at the beginning of the quarter, what was your beginning inventory? That will be your entire quarter's beginning inventory. So we're gonna subtract this, and then total amount of direct material you need to purchase is how much? I think it's 42,600, and to buy each direct material, which is computer chips, you will spend $2, and this is how you will get your total amount of cost for the entire quarter's direct material, which is 85,200. Now, can you double check by adding all this?